Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dual Screens Crossplay Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Fontana. As with me as always, is yonder is Andy Asmakis.
Well, if I wasn't awake before,
got to keep you on your toes, bud.
How is it going?
How goes it? How you doing, bud? How are you doing, bud?
I'm doing good.
I am super thirsty today. I don't know what it is, but I'm very thirsty today.
Yeah.
Like parched.
Right.
I usually drink a lot of coffee at my desk, and today I had a lot of coffee and also water because I just felt very thirsty today.
Stay hydrated.
Yes. New flavor today, Andy. I've said it in the pre-show, but white peach ginger. White peach ginger from Bubbly, not a sponsor of the show. I love me my seltzer. Ice cold seltzer. You love to see it. But yeah, we have a show and we're going to talk about games. We are, folks. If you don't know what the hell you're watching or listening to right now, I have a tickle in the back of my throat that I'm going to get. Andy, do the rigmarole.
Oh, hi. You're listening to the Crossplay Podcast, the world's #1 show about games starring two people that you don't ever want to know. Definitely. How's that?
Very good. Close enough.
I was like, I don't want to read it, but whatever.
All right.
But yes, please follow us on all.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the show posts each and every Tuesday for your listening pleasure on your podcast service of choice, including our home Podbean. We're also on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play, literally everywhere you can copy and paste an RSS feed. It's so simple, a baby can do it. If you want to watch us live, you could do so on twitch.tv/dualscreenstreams or later as a video on demand on youtube.com/dualscreens.tv. And if you want to support us with your hard-earned dollar bills, which of course you will after looking at this shit show, this highly produced piece of garbage that you listen to in your ears and watch with your eyes every single week, you can. It's very simple. Go to patreon.com/NDS podcast. Just like our Patreon producers, Colton the Apprentice Nestler, FNH Paul, and Vegas Girl on Fire. We cannot continue to grow without all of your support. So thank you so very much. And folks, don't forget, we also do an interview podcast where we interview another member of the indie developer or game creator space every single Friday right here on the same exact channel. And Andy, we are about to have like 14 episodes in the can for the rest of this year. A ridiculous amount of content is about to come out. We just interviewed the voice of Geralt of Rivia, which was freaking phenomenal. That's going to be going up on, I believe, the 17th is the day for that. But we have so many shows in lined up. You've been doing an incredible amount of work getting all those lined up, and I'm very, very pleased about it. So thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
Now, you know what else I'm thankful for?
Awesome games that we play.
Awesome games. So many games. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get into the adventures in gaming. Andy, I'll tell you what I've been playing.
Oh, I know what you've been playing.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm eager to dive into what you've been
Yes, but now I'm mad. Because now I want to play Fist. So now I don't know what to do.
Well, I'll get into that when it's my turn, but
dove back into Death Stranding, had a much better time. I picked up where I left off. I had a much better time. I kind of understood it a little bit more. I still think the BT sequences are really shitty in the beginning of the game. Just really not fun. But I'm hoping that'll get a little bit better as time goes on. What else? Yes, so I also did a 12-hour stream.
Yes.
Playing Returnal. It was the Beat the Damn Game challenge. I had not beaten any bosses by that time, so like I was going into this and but I finally beat the first biome at about 3.5 hours in. And the next 5.5 hours was me failing over and over again at the boss in the second biome. So
yeah,
it was something, to say the least. And I thought there were 3 biomes. No, apparently there's 6. So I didn't even make a dent in this thing, and I don't know if I'm encouraged because I was actually enjoying myself, or discouraged because of how little progress I actually made.
let's put it this way: if you beat the third biome, then the first three are done permanently.
Permanently.
Start from 4 and do 4, 5, and 6.
Right.
So once you're halfway through, you're good.
I heard 4, 5, and 6 are actually kind of easy.
5 especially, and
Okay.
I think Mikey Kirsch would bash me for saying that, but 5 doesn't have a boss fight. It just gauntlet rooms and just hordes of enemies and
Gotcha.
surviving.
Okay.
But it's if you're skilled moment to moment, like
I'm not
player-
skilled at anything.
right,
Yeah. So
I
it'll
thought it
be
was
tough.
easier.
It'll be tough for me.
right.
The hardest boss battle that I've ever had in my entire life was not a Souls game. It was not a Metroid game. It was not any of those games you would think. It was Lazarevich on Crushing in Uncharted. Yes.
Really?
Yes. Playing that
Huh.
on the hardest difficulty was the hardest boss battle I've ever played in my entire life.
Wow.
Well, second hardest, because I don't remember this, but the third to final robot that you fight in Armored Core 2, Another Age, was fucking impossible. I could never beat him, and I never beat him. So, but that may just be because I was 15. I don't know. But
Right.
regardless, that's a game I want remade. Give me a remake of Armored Core. You know what I mean?
That's that. Is that from software?
It is. It is from software. Yep. Yep.
Come on, guys.
Andy, what have you been playing, handsome?
So during the freaking storm last week.
Yeah, that was a hell of a storm.
So
all
while
of you
the
are safe.
while the basement was flooding, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna finish 12 minutes today.
Uh-huh.
And I know it's a short game. So I
Uh-huh.
was like, I think I'm kind of almost at the end of the game. I'm gonna finish it. I have so many thoughts about that game's ending. And I really want you to play it,
Uh-huh.
Steven,
Uh-huh.
because I am trying to get the creator on the show for a full like spoiler conversation about where the story came from. And
I don't know if I want to know that.
yeah, so here's the thing.
No spoilers, Andy. No spoilers.
No. This is
Spoiler free.
This is spoiler free, but I was able to guess the ending, not because of deduction or of some sort of higher brain function. I guessed aloud an absurd twist, a twist so absurd it couldn't possibly be true. I was like, oh, I bet you this is what happens. It was like me saying, oh, I bet he's a clone of his wife sent from the future to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that can't be true.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was true.
Right.
And I was like, what?
That's not what happens, folks. We're just yeah.
I kind of liken it to, there's a horror film from the 70s called Sleepaway Camp.
I know
Heard
this
of
one.
it?
Yes, I've heard of this. Yes.
So, a huge spoiler for this film, by the way. So the main plot is a girl, Angela, and her cousin Ricky go to a camp. For the
Now wait a
summer.
minute. This could spoil the game. You don't want to give anything.
No. This won't spoil the game.
Okay.
At all. Don't
All
worry
right.
about it. Don't worry. This has all been carefully thought in my brain.
Okay. You've thought about this carefully. Okay.
Right.
That there's a first.
Right. Angela gets picked on at the camp, and slowly but surely counselors and campers start dying throughout the film. And you think it's her because you think it's her cousin because he's defending her honor.
Right.
So, and he's shown to have violent tendencies throughout the movie. So
Okay.
it's like, okay, he's being set up as the killer in a sense, this young boy. But surprise, surprise, it's actually Angela who's the killer. But that's not the twist. The twist is she's actually a boy,
Oh.
which the reveal comes and you're like, you're shocked, but you're trying to understand why it's there.
Uh huh.
Like,
The
okay.
the penis.
and they show the peen and everything.
Oh, I'm saying,
by the
is
way.
that what you were questioning? Why is the penis there? Is that what?
Yeah, why is it
Okay.
there?
Okay.
And they sort of allude to it in the beginning, slightly, and
Okay.
you're like, okay, I guess this makes sense, but you're just like, it's like a shock for shock's sake,
Oh, I see.
and that's what I felt 12 minutes was at the end. I
I
was
see.
like, I see where you were going with this, but I feel like you had this idea for a twist all along, and you tried to make it work somehow, kind of a little bit, and
Hmm.
I think it floors you so much you don't question it a
Right.
lot, but
Yeah.
I'm just like sitting there like, no, this doesn't sit right with me.
Okay.
So I gotta ask this guy what's going on. So that's one thing I've been playing.
Mhm.
And then Fist came out today.
Yes. Did you play it?
I bought it twice.
You bought it twice. That's right.
I was a
'Cause you're an
zombie
idiot.
today.
Yeah.
After some PlayStation customer service, I got a refund. Then I got my PS5 version, and it's as if you took every single Metroidvania and fed it into a machine
Uh-huh.
that was Chinese, and then it gave you a
Again,
Metroidvania.
a Chinese Metroidvania. Other gotcha mechanics?
And that's what it is. No, none of that. But
Okay.
it's got some really slick gameplay.
That's all I care about, man.
It's solid. It's got fun combos, fun characters, neat boss fights. It's not trying too hard to impress you.
Right.
It just core basic Metroidvania.
I'm excited for it. I want to play
Right.
it.
And then one last game I played
Oh my.
also
Oh my.
is also our first indie news update.
Yes, this is good.
Yes. And that's Tormented Souls, which is like it's torn from the 90s of horror games. Resident Evil, Silent Hill. It's like that same tank
That
controls.
DNA. Yeah.
There's like a picture of a tank on the control scheme.
That's good.
And it's like, again, if you fed into a machine survival horror in the 90s, like here's a puzzle that involves gas and a generator.
You're right.
And it has to be
Right.
a proper level. You gotta flick the buttons to get the levels right. It's so old
Right.
school survival
Yeah.
horror. And I love it.
The
And you
the
see-
mundane for the sake of the mundane.
Right. And
Yeah.
the characters are just silly and make no sense. Like a quick setup. You get kidnapped and someone pulls out your eyeball for some reason, and you're missing your eye, and you find this priest, and you don't ask him like, who are you and who took my eye. It's like, are you okay?
Yeah.
I was like, I have more serious concerns than if the priest is okay.
No. My
Where's
my
my eye?
my eye is missing.
And
Ma'am.
there's like full on gazangas like in the first.
Oh, so we got
It's like it is full on unapologetic. It's like
Okay.
this is like 80s slasher.
so
goodness.
you had experience with why is the peen there and now why is the
Yeah, a
bazongas
lot.
there?
It was all over the place.
I understand.
And you know why I said gazanga, Steven? Because
Yeah.
I watched Encino Man on YouTube. the other
Encino
day. It was
Man.
free.
Classic American
I was
film.
like- I was like, I love that goddamn movie.
Andy, I don't know if you know this, but in 2 days, the sequel to one of the biggest indie games we've ever played, and the most fun indie games we've ever played, is coming out. That's right, a sequel to Rico. Did you even know this was happening? Because I had no idea this was happening.
No,
I got an
feel
email
like
for it.
We don't get alerts.
I got an email for it. And Rico London is coming out in 2 days on the 9th. It looks different in a sense that it has a little bit of a comic book aesthetic now, and it looks like it might not be ass. Like the first one ran terribly. That was the issue we had with it. It just ran awfully.
Right.
This looks like it might be optimized a little bit better. But here's a key feature list, very important. Okay. Arcade style gameplay. Okay. Play through various game modes. Follow the story in Operation on easy or normal, or jump straight into shoot bad guys in daily play. So you can just go in there and shoot guys. Compelling storyline with exhilarating gameplay to match it. Buddy cop co-op shooter in local or online. Defeat different enemy types to collect new weapons and expand your arsenal.
Wow.
Rescue civilian hostages and get them to safety. Many collectible items to locate. Moment-to-moment action-packed gameplay. I feel like you didn't need that one.
Yeah.
I feel like that one right there is up there with gameplay to match it, but okay, we'll go move on. Battle your way through the towers. Many stories. Towers should be possessive, but it's not here. It's just towers. Like multiple. Watch the chaos unravel in slow motion. And here's the big one, the big change, I believe. Cel-shaded graphic novel art style.
Yeah,
So
I think
there
it was leaning towards that a little
It was,
bit. in the
yeah,
first
but it
one. Now
wasn't
it's like-
really, yeah.
right. now
They
it's
didn't
like-
fully go into comic book.
Right.
Um,
Interesting. I feel like when you take it a less serious approach and just
Have fun with it.
have fun with it.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely, I will say, in motion definitely looks smoother, but that could be. I mean, we played it on Switch,
Oh yeah.
and it
And
was.
there's footage of that on the internet. of
There
us
is.
playing this game on
But this apparently is currently only going to be available on PC. That at least that's what it says on their presser. So that might actually benefit it that it's on the PC. But yeah, go check that one. Rico is a really, really dumb, fun game where you literally kick a door open and shoot everyone in the room. That's the whole game. That's the point of the game. You kick a door open, shoot everybody in the room, go to the next room. That's it. You have to clear the whole level.
We were discussing minimalist games.
Yes.
First person games. And
Yes.
the answer was always under our noses.
It was right under our noses. Right under our noses. Speaking of the under our noses, Andy, it's time to get into the dual screens report. There are rumors circulating. Rumors abound. We got a fan-made trailer trying to tease that a God of War Ragnarok thing is coming on this Thursday PlayStation Showcase. But another PlayStation Showcase rumor is that we're going to get a new Infamous. Could it be? Leaks and website registrations point to a potential announcement this week. This is coming from Games Radar. A new Infamous game could be revealed this week, according to a rumor from a leaker. With form when it comes to series developer Sucker Punch. I don't understand what that means. Xbox Era co-founder. Special Nick took to Twitter yesterday, September 5th, to say that although he couldn't get it confirmed, there's a chance that we could see Infamous make a return at Sony's showcase, referring to a PlayStation showcase that is due to take place. Even though it isn't exactly ironclad, even the tweet says to take it with a grain of salt. But this Twitter person has a very good, has been very good with Sucker Punch leaks. So, that's pretty cool. The other reason this rumor has gained get a little traction is that it's been noted by a few accounts that Sony has renewed the Infamous webpage domain last year. While this is almost certainly a way for PlayStation to make sure no one else gets to nick the domain, it's at least a sign that Sony hasn't forgotten about Sucker Punch's open world series. Now, we were thinking, like, what happens now that Spider-Man's in the fold? Like, what happens to Infamous, right? Because they're very similar in their scope. But I think there is a place for Infamous still here, Andy. What are your thoughts?
You crossover. That's what you do.
Crossover?
That's how you do it. I mean, Spider-Man is a good enough hero, but you know, he doesn't have no lightning powers or smoke powers.
Well, technically he does.
Really well, sure.
Miles Morales does have lightning powers.
Miles does.
Yes.
Miles does, but you know, he gets freaky with it. Those either be it Desmond or who is the first guy? I forget his name. Cole. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Desmond and Cole.
So,
now Andy, let me toss this your way. What if it's based on the First Light character, who I'm blanking on her name, because that character,
crap, what's her name?
That power base was really cool. Being able to, like, the neon and everything like that. What if it's another story of hers, and or maybe somebody else, like, brand new, and they get visited by Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like,
that's all cool. Like, I love that idea. I'm just at this point, is this going to be anything outside of a remake or like a bundle of the first?
It's got to be a new game. I honestly think it's going to be a new game. They'll probably have the remaster of the first two also, but I think we get a new game. I really do. Why not?
Sucker Punch just gave us Ghosts. They gave us the Ghost expansion in Legends mode, and then now Rivals, and then Icky Island. So they've been doing all that, and it
doesn't have to be Sucker Punch.
Oh, you think they'd hand it off to another team? Like, now you take,
or they just have two teams and they just never told us. They never told anybody.
This is also true. Yeah, I'm not sure how big that team even is, so that could be a possibility as well.
Yeah.
But in any case, I have missed this franchise a lot. It was like one of my mainstays back in the PS3 days, and it needs to come back in some way, be it a remake or just a remaster of the first couple of games for a nice low price, hopefully not like Nintendo prices. But yeah, I want this, like Special Nick says, to be true, because I like this franchise a whole lot.
Yes, and he also, I believe, was also the leaker for the God of War Ragnarok stuff. If they come out with an infamous a God of War Ragnarok, obviously more Horizon, maybe show us a Spider-Man teaser. Could be in for a pretty dope
Oh God.
showcase. Speaking of Horizon Forbidden West, Andy, there was quite a kerfuffle that happened over the past couple of days.
This is, Stephen, I think, the ultimate test for anyone who claims to be a fanboy or not a fanboy. Fanboy is when you love something so much you can't see past its flaws and you can't have a critical eye of it. When I saw this bullshit, there was no defending it whatsoever.
No.
So for those who don't know what's going on, Sony announced the pre-order details for Horizon Forbidden West, which include a $60 PS4 version, a $70 PS5 version, with no upgrade path between both of them, and you can only own both for an $80 digital deluxe edition.
Uh-huh.
So after a lot of Twitter storm,
but wait a minute, the big Twitter storm was because they specifically said that any game that comes out on PS4 is going to have their free upgrade for PS5.
Here's the bullshit, Stephen.
Yes.
With what you're saying.
Yes.
There's semantic PR speak buried.
Of course there is. Of course there is. Of course there is.
Which, like, it's sort of like it's set up for, like, if he's on trial. It's
Right.
like, if you look at my words, Your Honor, I said this clearly, so ergo I am correct. So the quote was mentioning when Miles Morales, Horizon, and I think Sackboy's Big Adventure were announced as cross-generation titles,
Right,
on PS4 and PS5. And it was like, don't worry, these games on the PS5 will take advantage of the new hardware. Plus, these launch games are going to have a free upgrade path on the PS5 version. So if you buy it on PS4 now, free upgrade later. Now,
Right.
The key thing with that, Stephen, is this is also in Sony's bullshit excuse when they reversed this decision,
which we'll get
was
to.
that the quote was specifically for launch titles will have a free upgrade path. Nothing for after the fact.
Right.
If it's like a game coming out in 2022 on PS4, that's not a launch game. So of course we're going to charge you for that, you dummy. So a lot of weirdness, and people were angry because there was a blatant lie out there. So it's like you can't really. First, there's no option to charge us $10 more. So I'm paying $80 to own both. Otherwise, if I have a PS4, I'm buying the game twice, ostensibly. Right. And then, so the whole idea of it being free is nowhere even in the conversation. So Sony examined this and they were like, okay, we thought we can get away with this bullshit, but I guess people aren't that stupid. So they were like, oh yeah, due to COVID and we really wanted to have this as a launch game. So it was going to be free when it was a launch game. We pushed it back, but we did say it. So we're going to honor that and it's going to be free. But
slow clap.
Just so you know though, when God of War comes out in GT7, that's going to be $10. All right. So don't expect that for free whatsoever. And when I look at all this, when I look at Horizon, I look at God of War, I look at Gran Turismo 7, and I'm thinking to myself, is all of this really worth $10? I don't imagine there are many games on the slate that are going to be cross-gen for Sony outside of these three big games: Horizon, God of War, GT7. I'm not sure what else is out there that's going to be on both systems. We might find out more in a couple days.
On Thursday, yeah.
But to me, if these are the last big three send-offs for PS4 that are going to be also on PS5, just eat it and do $60 across the board and be done with it. This was not worth all of this grief. It really wasn't for $10. And you're casting this weird shadow, this dark cloud on three of your biggest franchises that folks are going to want to play and enjoy. But now there's this dumb bullshit sauce that it's layered all over it, which I hate.
Yeah. If only there was some sort of smart way of doing this.
Right. A smart way to deliver these upgrades without any annoyance or headaches or guesswork or other shit. But
indeed.
Yeah.
But Andy, let's talk about.
Least,
go ahead.
Yes.
No.
At least they listened.
At least they listened.
At
indeed.
least they listened. And with that out of the way, Steven.
Indeed. Yes, with that out of the way, there is this showcase happening Thursday. So why don't we talk about what we think will be there? Because our Facebook question of the week was, what are your PS Showcase predictions? Miss Envy says, more things that don't have crossplay because Sony are brats. Probably. That's probably accurate. That's probably going to happen. Friend of the show, Alex says, Alan Wake Remastered, Sly Cooper 5, God of War Ragnarok gameplay, and Infamous Zombie Outbreak, Twisted Metal Black 2.
Wow.
Those are a lot of predictions.
Just hitting all the rumors for those predictions.
All them rumors. All them rumors. Andy, what are your predictions for this thing?
So I think we have a number of safe bets with this. I think the God of War sequel, I refuse to call it Ragnarok. That's not the real name yet. So it's God of War sequel as far as I'm concerned. I think that at this point is a lock for this show. There's no way we don't see that this show. I'm going to make a weird prediction that we're not going to see Horizon at this event. I think Horizon, given the recent news, let's distance from that. Plus, it has a date. It has all the stuff out there. We've seen it in action for over 20 minutes. Let's not linger on that. Do a sizzle reel if you need to at the end or in the beginning, but I think this does need a dedicated 5-minute gameplay demonstration. I'm expecting a Blue Point Games acquisition announcement.
Okay.
Bonus multiplier of their new project being shown as well. It's been 2 years-ish since Demon Souls. No, 1 year. Almost 1 year since we got Demon Souls on PS5. And I think Sony get them to work really fast. So it's like, all right, remember that leak from earlier this year that we bought these guys? Well, it's true. And here's their new thing that's coming out. So enjoy that.
I think that it's not going to be a new game. I think it'll be DLC.
Oh, you think they'll do a DLC for Demon Souls?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're going to expand because I feel like that's easy. I feel like that's I don't want to say easy like it's physically easy to do, but it's way easier to do.
Fast.
Right. It'll be way easier to do. Like you could split your team, one half or whatever, or 3/4 of it could start your next project, and the rest of the team can use the assets you already have and build a little DLC, maybe some sort of Chalice Dungeon-ish type system or gameplay or whatever, where you could just do a boss rush or something like that, something fun that.
Right. And I think we'll also get a more intimate look at Gran Turismo 7 at this thing.
Woohoo.
That was announced before we even saw God of War when it was teased in September of last year. So I think that we'll get a more intimate look at that. And that's all I can say with certainty. There's a lot of rumors floating around between the Sly Cooper. There's a SOCOM in the works, which I've heard from several sources. I've sort of kind of maybe confirmed on my own a little bit, but again, who knows at this point? There's this From Software game, which makes sense because From Software has done Demon Souls, has done Bloodborne, so give us the PS5 version of that franchise. That's a new IP for the PS5. There's rumors of a Twisted Metal, a Wipeout, Soul Reaver remake. So there's a lot of things floating around now. Infamous. So again, a lot of things swirling around. I just want to see this to be pure PlayStation Studio magic. Okay. I get you got to do the third party stuff. We may see that Pragmatic game from Capcom. We saw. We may see Forspoken also from Square Enix. I think that's further along than FF16 is. But yeah, lean in a little bit to the third party.
I think we
for
might
the
see some
holiday season.
FF16.
Right.
I think
But
I think we might see some of that.
I want to say if it's a 40-minute show, carve out 5 to 8 minutes for third party, and then the rest just do pure your home turf stuff, your first party studio stuff, because we've seen over the course of this past year indie showcases, third party showcases, state of plays on games like Deathloop, which aren't Sony first party games. So it's time to show what's going on. Give us like some Last of Us factions. That could be a thing as well. Just I want it to be solely on the first party stuff. That's really it.
I think the other thing we might get is NHL 22. I think I think they might show off like the DualSense specific stuff. Because that's really the only thing that's going to separate it on, because it's the first like true next gen hockey game. So I think that they are probably going to want to focus on those next gen like that fan base, and that's who's going to be watching this showcase, right? So I think that could be possible that they would just say, hey, it's EA, the team here, whatever, EA, I think it's Montreal. I think they're in Montreal. We just want to show you what's coming up on the next version of NHL 22 exclusive features for the PlayStation 5, and then just show like a couple of things that are like the sound and the triggers on the DualSense and like whatever. Just spend like maybe 3 minutes, not even 2 minutes on it, just saying, whatever.
Yeah, it's tough because there's also stuff like Grand Theft Auto 5 that's coming out for
Please stop it
around the corner.
Stop it.
It's like I don't need to see that, or like Call of Duty again. Like I know you have to appease your partnerships, but like we know these games exist and they're gonna sell regardless. And I want to see why I own a PS5 now. Like I know
GTA
why
5,
I bought
that's,
it. Like
that's
last
the obvious
year,
reason.
but GTA 5 is not why I bought a PS5.
Man.
So yeah, I expect, because listen, between you and I and listeners and everyone else out there, Sony could have slunk by the year and not done any kind of show. They would have gotten a lot of shit for it.
Yes,
for being,
especially on this podcast.
Right, for being quiet. Definitely. But they could have gone by and said, you know what? We have a very light end of year lineup. It's mainly just Death Stranding Director's Cut. We have some indie stuff coming to our system, like we have Kenna and we have this, which came out today. Not a lot of huge AAA stuff, but still things worth playing at the end of the day. And we'll let our third party lineup speak for the holiday season, and then we'll see you next year. It would have been a shit show. People would have called them out, but they could have gotten away with it. With that being said, you're gonna announce a showcase, bring your A game.
Bring the goods.
Yeah.
Speaking of the goods, Nintendo. Gonna Nintendo. Nintendo's yet again, Andy.
I'm not surprised, and I don't know who I'm more mad at, Nintendo or idiot people who think that this shit won't end up the way this has. So Nintendo has shut down a very promising looking Metroid Prime fan game. It is a 2D version of Metroid Prime, which there was a demo out at some point last year. I think we covered on the show, maybe when it first came out.
I think we did, yeah.
And it looks all sort. It plays phenomenally. It's all sorts of dope. And Nintendo was like, "This looks too good. Shut it down." And the lesson here, people, Nintendo is never going to change. They can go to like AA meetings or like anger management, but they're always going to beat you, and they're always going to drink. They're never going to learn from their mistakes. So the best thing to do is do this shit behind closed doors when no one's looking, make the thing, release it, walk away, middle finger to Nintendo, and that's it. That's the best way to do this shit. Because every time this happens, we get a promising fan game that looks interesting, that looks like people with actual talent and skill made it, and the demo's out there. Within a week, it gets quashed, and then we're all sad. And yeah,
put the cannon on the other arm, change the color from red / orange to like green, like a green Halo soldier or whatever, Master Chief. Call her Sumas. and call it Helltroid, and just reskin it.
I would just make it a dude. Call him Samuel, or Run, or some shit like that. And then, he's a guy fighting aliens in space. That's it. Listen, this is a very talented team. We saw this. Remember that? What was that? Them fighting herds.
Yes.
That was a My Little Pony game.
Yes.
And then Hasbro was like, "Stop!" Then all right, we'll make our own ponies then.
And it got a huge following.
Super successful, yeah.
That's right. Speaking of super successful things, this was actually a really cool Nintendo piece of news. Every episode of Pokemon is now on the Switch on a Pokemon TV free app. That's pretty damn cool. I know it seems like maybe it's not, but you got all the specials. You got some shorts on there that I've never heard of. You got movies on there, a couple of them. You got all the series. Just some good stuff. I'm excited for this. Like, I don't know if I'm excited to watch this on my Switch, but I'm excited that this is a thing. Maybe this is a thing that'll be just as synonymous as Netflix is on, your app stores or on your TV, on your smart TV or whatever, which would be cool because Netflix has a couple of Pokemon. It goes from like the first season all the way up to like the Alolan region and like skips everything else. So it's just weird.
Right.
Yeah, it's been on phones, but like maybe this is a thing that could just be a synonymous situation. My kids had started to want to watch Pokemon.
Oh, boy.
So
That's
yeah.
Oh God, that's gonna be an expensive habit for them if they get into Pokemon.
Yes. They said they want to watch Pokemon. I'm like, okay, put Pokemon on. But that's cool news. And then finally, a last piece of news here is a two-parter. And this is just lovely.
This is a story that I was watching unfold, and I was just like, God, why can't we just make games and not bring in this stuff?
Stop bringing the noise and bringing in the funk, okay? Just stop it.
All right, so I'm going to read the first bit, and then you're going to do the aftermath. That
sounds great. That sounds great.
Gucci to you, Steven?
That sounds great.
So John Gibson, the CEO of Tripwire, who made such awesome games as Maneater, decided to go on Twitter and share his thoughts on the Supreme Court affirming the Texas law banning abortion for babies with a heartbeat. And he says that he's proud of the U.S. Supreme Court for affirming the decision. As an entertainer, I don't get political often, and this is the way you want to do it, but whatever. Yet with so many vocal peers on the other side of the issue, I felt it was important to go on the record as a pro-life game developer. So, I'm not going to say you should be a certain way with this issue. I have no skin in this game in my life whatsoever. And someone should be free to say how they feel about this one particular issue. But when you put an issue like this on Twitter within the gaming community, there's going to be some repercussions and ramifications. And I think that's where you come in.
Yeah. Tripwire CEO is out 53 hours after tweeting his opinions on Texas abortion law. Now, right. I think the most fun part of this was the high profile, very prominent game developers, directors, designers for the last 3 decades. Quite a few of them went on there and just basically tore this guy to pieces, which honestly, I didn't know who John Gibson was. So whatever until today. Yeah. Or yesterday, right. Actually, when I came across this,
right.
I don't know the details. I did not read the article of if he stepped down, if he was let go, if whatever, I don't know. Just you have to remember, no matter if you think that you are championing a righteous cause or not, your words have consequences because you are in charge, especially if you're in charge of a company that has lots of people in it and lots of people that could be negatively affected by those words or whatever. So outside of the political issue, I don't know how it's political, but whatever political issue that was being discussed, outside of that, it's just a bad boss decision to alienate your staff like that. Like, that would, you know, honestly, that would be like saying, you know, I don't know. I don't want to make it I don't want to compare it to anything, but like, it's just a really dumb thing to say when you're in charge of a bunch of people. Like, when you're the president of an entire company, just don't say things like out loud like that.
I think you need to kind of keep those kind of thoughts to yourself a little bit. I mean, you have to think to yourself, who does this benefit by coming out in support of this, aside from trying to get some sort of, you know, traction or name recognition or just attention? Also, a little bit it comes off as it wasn't like he was overly toxic or saying like those who, it wasn't like, oh, attention baby killers, this is how I feel. It wasn't like that.
It was pretty like for the shitstorm that Twitter is. It was somewhat. It was respectful. Like, it
was very tame.
Right. It was somewhat respectful.
But again,
I mean,
like, I don't know my bosses, our CEO's political leanings. I know I can get a sense of where he goes on a company facing point of view, but his personal beliefs, I have no idea how he falls on, like, immigration or abortion or gay rights. I don't think I want to know how he feels about these things at the end of the day. I feel like you're here to run a company and to make sure we all have a place here and we all feel safe and included, and, you know, we're paid well and we're not being taken advantage of or abused. Like, that's what you're there for. I'm not sure why you felt the need to go and talk on Twitter, you know, about your inner thoughts about this, when, again, people look up to you in a company and, like, are now like, well, that, like, made me think a lot less of you, or now I think more of you. Could go either way.
Right.
But this, I think, is just a little bit unnecessary. And the end result is they're like, listen, you know, maybe it's not about your beliefs, but, like, you brought a lot of bullshit with this. So
yeah, it's unfortunate negative attention. And you know, just from a job standpoint, as I said, like, I'm trying to keep it as business focused as I can. It's just a bad business move. Like, it just is. Like, what's more likely to happen? You getting ousted from a company for that, or being ousted for the company for changing your logo during Pride Month? You know, like, read the room. the room he's in is very, very multicultural, multifaceted. Like, it's funny. Read the room, dude. It's
funny when I see when I see the Pride flag in Pride Month, I'm always like, ugh, this again. Like, I know it's like the most basic level, like, yes, we don't hate you, sort of like thing, and I get it, but, you know, I get it, but still, like, that's fine for me. It's enough. I don't want you, like, going and saying, like, you know, fighting in my corner and saying all these things. Like, just your job is to make it. It's like when actors get, like, political. I'm like, I get it, but I'm like, dance monkey. Just do a show for me. That's about
well, that's part. Well, maybe that's part of the show.
I don't care.
I don't know.
Yeah, I get it, but I feel like, listen, I watch you for entertainment, not to hear about what you think about, you know, political issues. But
yeah, you have a unique perspective on it, I think.
Yeah, we live in. I think things are just so polarizing lately, and we have to just express how we feel about every single thing. You know, I just wish we could have a place where we can talk like human beings again to one another. That's my only issue.
Yeah.
Not screaming going.
Well,
like, I can respect someone's position on something if it's a well-reasoned argument. Like, I could say, I don't agree with that, but I can see why you would feel that way, and I could not hate your guts. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, everybody has different life experiences, you know, like you are a gay man and you still have a very, I would say non-vocal opinion like your feelings towards it are not what you hear typical. They're not atypical, right? That doesn't mean they're invalid, you know?
Right. If I don't go the way like the majority of my community thinks, it doesn't mean like my opinion is any less like important.
Right. You're coming from a different upbringing.
This is like my experience growing up. Like again, like as a gay man, I was never like bullied growing up, but I know it's like having like a mom who doesn't like your lifestyle. You know,
right.
I was never like abused or called names or, you know, brought to the brink of suicide over my sexuality.
But you also did hide it for a very long time.
Right.
So like if you know, like there are people that don't want to have to do that, and because they don't, they're the ones that are marginalized. Now I know we're getting a little off topic here, but to just just to bring it around town here, as SpongeBob says, Mr. Gibson here, who was the president of a fairly successful company and put his foot in his mouth, and it's okay to have your own beliefs and whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It's people's rights shouldn't be taking away the rights that have been already affirmed by a Supreme Court. You know, like these were already discussed. Like this issue is already quote unquote resolved, and now you're reversing somebody's right. And I just feel like that's not really something you want to celebrate. And I think that's like, if and you're again, it could be any right, you know, as far as I'm concerned, because I'm a straight white dude.
If you feel so like passionate about it, like you really wanted this to be a thing, like you were that in favor of, you know, banning abortion, and it happens, just celebrate in silence. Like, okay, cool, I got my W, so to speak, and that's fine. I'm not going to jeopardize my company or my employees, because they're gonna, are their games gonna take hits now on sales? Like things happen because of this. So it's for like a 10-minute shot in you know, for Twitter fame, and then to lose your job, it seems like kind of pointless. But what can you do?
What can you do, man?
What can you do?
Words have consequences. Actions make things happen. Andy, do you have anything for the hype zone?
You know, I'm going to hype up all of the amazing work we've been doing lately, Steve.
You and me? You and I?
You and I.
Okay.
Me and you. Us. We have, I want to say, 9 interviews.
Oh, my.
Done in the can, recorded, signed, sealed, delivered. We're meeting with Volition this Thursday. We have stuff coming up on the weekend. And I think by the time September's done, we're going to have like 15, 16 interviews just ready to go.
It's kind of bananas.
And it's a little overwhelming, because now I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, when do we release these things? We're good for the whole year now. I can't talk to anyone else. Fuck.
Yeah, no, it's because
other fun shit comes out. Because other fun shit comes out.
Yeah.
That I want to talk about. It's like, okay, if I were to get like an interview with like a high profile developer tomorrow, I'd be like, cool, can I post it in like 2022?
No, I think we would just have to do a bonus.
Though I had a thought though for Volition. So they're doing the whole like, we can only discuss Saints Row as it exists out there. We can't go beyond what people know about the game already. So I'm going to propose to our guest, if we record this as if it were approaching launch, or like a month prior, like January of next year, can you say more shit that will be available by the time this recording is out? Gonna take a chance. Let's see if it takes the bait.
The bait is cast. Ladies and gentlemen,
I'd rather have that go out for next year. Just saying. But we'll see.
I got you. We have a hype fan member.
We do.
Yes, we do. We have a nominee. Miss Envy has nominated Probably Oliver. Okay, probably Oliver is a friend of the show, friend of the my streams, and an overall good human from across the pond. Our friend probably Oliver has a very lovely cat named Squeaks that was recently diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, which means very expensive treatment. Now, I lost the cat to a very rare cancer, and it sucks because it was very expensive. Just to find out if it really was that cancer would have cost us $1,200 just to find out if that's what it was. And then to treat it would have been thousands and thousands of dollars, because you're talking about boarding the cat, doing 24-hour surveillance. So I think usually my mom's cat had cancer, and they did a 3-day treatment. So 3 days at a vet in the city. Oh, and the camera was on him. You get to watch him and everything like that, getting his treatment. And it went well for him. He got a couple extra years there. He wound up just dying of old. But yeah, my cat out of nowhere got very ill from a very rare bone cancer. It was a type of bone marrow cancer. Very rare, very hard to treat. But we are going to help probably Oliver out. So if you have a couple of bucks, even $1, we will have a PayPal link. I know that that's not a GoFundMe. It feels a little sketch, but it's probably Oliver, and we are, or at least I am, vouching for his integrity. And we'll put a PayPal link in our show notes and all that stuff. But if you are listening and you don't want to look at the show notes, you go to paypal.com/PayPalMe/probably-Oliver, and you could find him, and you could send them a couple bucks. It'll help him and take that burden off, because our fur babies are our babies, as we all know, and without them, where will we be? Where will we be, Andy? You tell me. Nowhere. That is going to bring us to the end of the show. This is a good show, Andy. This is a good show. Good discussions.
It's a great show.
We had a good time. I think a good rapport back and forth. But like all good things, some things must come to an end. And that is this show this week, episode 87, Andy. I can't believe it. We're almost at 90. Oh wait, yes. I'm sorry. Microsoft has Buzz put this in the chat. And as a longtime listener and viewer, I'm obligated to read this. Because we didn't hit our Microsoft news quota of the week. Microsoft has literally just acquired Clipchamp, which apparently is to fix their web-based video editing. So both Windows 10 and Xbox have the worst video editing tools on the face of the planet, on the face of the earth, maybe in the history of the universe. This is an article from Windows Central, by the way. There are primitive alien species on the hitherto undiscovered planet, aliens who have yet to master the art of firecraft, who yet still have better video editing tools than Windows. Alas, that could be about to change thanks to Clipchamp. That is great. That is wonderful. So yeah, they got, if you can't do it, buy somebody who can. It's as simple as that. So we hit our Microsoft quota there, but now it's time to get the hell out of here. If you want to follow us on social media, we are at dual_screens on Twitter and at dual screens on Instagram. I am at Batchild27. Andy is at PantsGuy. And you could, of course, watch the show live on twitch.tv/dual-screen-streams, later on youtube.com/dual-screens-TV. Folks, if you're listening on an Apple podcast device or of some kind, or if you even have one but you don't really listen to the show on there, look up the show, find it, and rate us. Do it. Rate the show. It is deplorable how low our ratings are. How few ratings we actually have. I'm talking, there are podcasts out there that have way less content out there for even longer time, but like, you know what we're talking, you know the kind of podcast we're talking about out there, okay? Yes, we're two guys you've never heard of. I get it. But we've interviewed a lot of people. You know what I mean? They're the stars of the show. They're the reason why you're here, not us two neckbeards. No, sir. You're here for the solo devs that use their life savings to create their video games. Don't you want more people to hear those stories? Well, there's a way we can do that. Beat the algorithm. Rate us on your podcast service of choice, but especially Apple Podcasts, because we have like 28 reviews. That's paltry after doing this for almost 4 years.
Some rookie numbers right there.
What's going on here? I understand Apple Podcasts isn't the most desirable place to listen to shows, but how many people have iPhones?
A lot of iPhones out there.
A lot of iPhones out there. At least 100 million.
At least.
So, you know what? Just do it. Be a friend. We love you. You have to do it. You have to do it. Yeah, iPizzles? You got an iPizzle, an iPad, perhaps? Do you have an iPad? You can do it on your iPad. You can even go to Apple or whatever it is, iTunes.com and whatever, and it'll pull up there. I love you. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, viewers. And as always, please be excellent to each other.